and then the cicada goes back into the ground for another 17 years.
There you go. The more you know.
Talk about an exciting lifestyle.
Right? Exactly. Okay. Let's get to questions from our Facebook page. So we have from Sandy, after several years of trying to get apples on a Honeycrisp tree, do we now spray the apples? If so, with what?
Yes, once we get to petal drop, you should go ahead and spray with an all-purpose fruit tree spray, and you should spray 5 times on a 10-day rotation. So you're going to be spraying for about 50 days. You know, and of course we're well past petal drop, so you've missed some sprays already, but get on top of it. I've had quite a few samples of apple scab brought in already.
All right, from Karen, can I trim my burning bushes now? They were trimmed this spring.
Well, you can always do a light pruning, a light trimming, that you know, to just even them up. It's like trimming a hedge. Don't get too carried away. If you're going to have to do heavy pruning, you've missed your window. You should have really done that back in March and April, but you can always keep them looking nice through the season. Make sure that you stop pruning about the 1st of September. You don't want to force out late growth that will not harden off before cold weather gets here.
Bill says, can I put coffee grounds on my vegetable plants?
Sure. Coffee grounds are an organic source. Tends to make the ground a little acid, but you know, unless you're a coffeeaholic, I don't think you're going to have to worry. But coffee grounds are a decent addition to the soil.
Okay, from Robert, he says, I sprayed weed killer on an old weed patch I want to make into a new flower bed. How long do I have to wait to start putting plants and seeds in it?
I think most labels say anywhere from six days to 2 weeks. Now, it's going to take a while for the weed killer. You have to let this work. I don't know exactly what you use, but those weeds actually have to die down. It takes a while to get that killer down into the roots and finish the plants off. So don't get too carried away. Don't work too soon after you put the herbicide on.
From Mike, leaves are yellow at the base of tomato plant. Came this way, should I prune?
They'll come off on their own. The plants always go through a shock when they go outside. You know, they've been inside. The leaves that they formed in the greenhouse are not ready to be outside. You're going to lose some. They'll come off on their own. Don't get too worried.
Okay, from Beverly, 20-year-old oak planted by gravel road with lime rock. Leaves are light green and looks pretty bad this year. I use Hignight on it for the last 2 years, but not helping. What else can I do?
Well, we have a formula that we give out, and it's a source of iron, actual garden sulfur, and mirror acid fertilizer. If you'd stop by, I can actually give you a copy of the formula.
All right, we have questions coming up from Patricia, Jean, and Dean. Coming up after the break, keep submitting your questions to our Facebook page, and we'll have more with Craig Hignight coming up in just a couple minutes.
Welcome back. We've got plant and garden expert Craig Hignight joining us. Get your questions in on our live stream on our Facebook page. But first, before we get back to that, we have a question from our producer, Deanna. She wants to know, how can I make my clay-filled soil drain better?
Okay, what you want to do is go ahead and add organic matter, and probably, I would definitely add some gypsum to the soil. Gypsum causes those clay particles, which are microscopic, to what we call flocculate. They glom together into larger clumps so the water can get in much easier, but that organic matter. Be careful about amending with sand. You get that one wrong and you're not making good soil, you're making cement.
All right, so we have a question from Patricia. My hydrangea didn't bloom last year and I don't see any buds yet. Is there something I should be doing to help it?
Well, if a hydrangea didn't bloom last year, I worry that you might have pruned it at the wrong time. If it's a colored hydrangea, pink or blue, the proper time to prune is the end of August. If it's one of the whites or the limelights that are kind of yellowish, it should bloom no matter what. Could be that we've had some bad weather and the overwintering buds got blasted. If it's a rebloomer, you should get color before the summer's over. Do not get carried away with too much fertilizer, and do make sure you give some water in August and September when those new buds are forming so the plant can build itself up before we go into winter.
Okay, from Jean, something eats the roots of my hostas between spring and fall. How do I prevent this? I think it's being done by voles.
Voles. That's a little field mouse that doesn't have any ears. And the best thing for voles is mouse traps and peanut butter. They're like any rodent. They love peanut butter. When you put it out, try and find where they have been active. Put your traps there and put a pot or a box over them and raise it up on one corner just half an inch. They can skinny under that and you won't be catching rabbits and squirrels in your traps.
We have Dean asking, my irises are done blooming. Can I trim them down about 6 inches?
Only if you're going to go ahead and replant them. We only cut the iris back in the spring to get rid of all of last year's foliage, and we will reset iris about the 4th of July. So at that point, yes, you could go and cut them back. They're kind of in a dormancy right now. They have not started making their summer roots. That doesn't happen until July. That's why we always reset the bed in early July.
All right, we've got another question about tomato plants. That it has a lot of blossoms, but they don't seem to be producing any tomatoes. Blooms seem to dry up and fall off.
Okay, what you need is blossom set. It's actually a plant hormone in a spray form that you literally spray on the flowers, and it makes them hold until the fruit can form. So that would be my recommendation, using, what did I say it was? Blossom set. Senior moment, sorry.
Hey, happens.
You know more than I do. So.
We have Lisa saying, when is it safe to split my fall clematis?
Fall clematis should be split if it's divided itself. If they're far enough away from each other, you can discern two plants. You do that early October. Just before it goes dormant, you can move it anywhere you want, and by next spring, it's not even going to know it's been touched.
All right.
Well, Craig, thanks as always for being with us.
Thanks for putting up with me.
Oh,
Always.
I learn a lot from you.
Yes.
I enjoy it.
Yeah, and of course, as always, we will be doing this each and every Wednesday with Craig, and we will take your questions on our Facebook page. Be sure to tune in each and every Wednesday at 11 a.m. with him. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.